Hi, my name's Frank. I'm going to be playing Miranda today in a 35-point battle. We'll be playing the all-in-one army boxes versus each other.
Hello, I'm Miranda, and welcome to another Warmachine battle report. You've just met Frank, and today we're going to try out the Khador and TROLLBLOODS all-in-one army box against each other in this 35-point battle report. Khador is being led by Forward Commander Sorsha Kratikov with her trusty war dog, a bonded Demolisher, and a Spriggan. We also have Lady Ayana and Master Holt, a unit of Widowmakers, and a full unit of Winter Guard with the unit attachment, 3 Rocketeers, and Kovnik Joseph Grigorovich. TROLLBLOODS is being led by Gricelle Bloodsong, Fellcaller. She has a dire Troll Blitzer and a dire Troll Mauler. She also brought a full unit of TROLLKIN champions, a full unit of the Creelstone and Stone Scribes, and a full unit of TROLLKIN warders. We are playing the Steamroller 2015 scenario, 2 fronts. I chose the Fuel Cache objective, and my opponent chose the Arcane Wonder objective. I win the starting roll and decide to go first. Sorsha deploys behind the Winter Guard with Jax embedded on opposite sides. Ayana and Holt are on the far right. Gricelle deploys with her battle group next to her. The warders and champions make up the front line, and the Creelstone hangs in the back. The Widowmakers stand along the center of the board in front of my army. Khador, turn 1. Sorsha allocates 1 focus to each Jack and keeps the rest for herself. The Widowmakers activate and move up into the rubble for cover. The Winter Guard issue a run order and move up 12 inches. The Demolisher spends a focus to run, and the Spriggan does the same. Ayana and Holt issue a run order and move up behind the Winter Guard. Kovnik Joe advances up and gives his speech, Courage of Our Forefathers, giving the Winter Guard tough and fearless. Sorsha activates and spends 2 focus to cast Iron Flesh on the Winter Guard. She camps the rest. Finally, the War Dog advances to keep up with Sorsha. TROLLBLOODS, turn 1. The Troll Blitzer riles and runs for 2 Fury. The Mauler also riles and runs for 2 Fury, heading toward his friendly zone. The Warders activate and issue a run order. They move 8 inches up the board. Gricelle activates and places 5 Fury on the Creelstone. She then advances forward and gives the Hoof It Fell Call to the Warders. The champions activate and run, moving 10 inches up the board. The Creelstone activates, spends a Fury for Protective Aura, and issues a run order to embed in with the rest of the army. They currently have an 8-inch aura that grants an additional 2 armor. With everything done activating, the Hoof It Fell Call kicks in, and the warders make an additional advance of 4 inches. Khador, turn 2. Sorsha spends a focus to upkeep Iron Flesh and does not allocate any. The Winter Guard activate and issue a Bob and Weave order, moving 5 inches up the board. 5 Winter Guard make a combined ranged attack against a TROLLKIN warder. They will hit on anything but double 1s. The attack hits, and I roll dice -2 for damage, but the warder takes no damage. Another 5 Winter Guard make a combined ranged attack on a different warder. Only 4 soldiers are in range though. I need a 3 to hit, and make it. It's dice -3 for damage, and the warder takes 3 points of damage. 2 Winter Guard make a combined ranged attack on a warder. They need a 5 to hit, and make it. It's dice -7 for damage now that the warders have taken damage. The warder takes 2 points of damage. Sorsha activates and advances up. She spends 4 focus to cast Freezing Grip on the unit of warders. She boosts the attack, needing a 6. The spell is successful, and the warders are now stationary. The War Dog activates and runs up near Sorsha. The Demolisher activates and just advances up. The Spriggan activates and advances into my friendly zone. Ayana and Holt activate and advance near the Spriggan. Ayana casts Kiss of Lilith on the Trollkin champions to increase damage taken by 2. She needs a 4 to hit, and the spell is successful. Holt shoots at a champion, needing 4. The attack hits, and I roll dice -6 for damage, and do nothing. The second attack also hits, but does no damage. Kovnik Joe moves up and repeats his speech, "Courage of our forefathers." He then shoots at a Trollkin champion. He needs a 6 to hit, makes it, and causes 1 damage to the champion. The Widowmakers activate and forfeit movement for an aiming bonus. One takes a shot at a champion, which hits and causes 1 automatic point of damage. The next Widowmaker does the same, barely hitting this time and causing another wound. The third Widowmaker does the same, and the champion takes another point. The last Widowmaker shoots at the champion, causing another wound to the model. They have done the most damage so far. TROLLBLOODS Turn 2. Griselle leeches Fury from the Mauler and Blitzer and has 6 Fury again. The Creelstone activates and spends a focus for Protective Aura. Then they run. The Mauler activates and is forced to use his Animus Rage. He walks up to one of the Creelstone scribes and makes a throw attack. The Mauler needs a 4 to hit because of the back arc. The attack hits, and now a strength test is rolled. The Mauler gets 2 dice, and the Stone Scribe gets 1. The Mauler wins the strength test and attempts to throw the model at Sorsha. It's considered a melee attack, so the War Dog benefits Sorsha's defense. The Mauler needs a 12 to hit her, but misses. The attack deviates D3 inches, and the Scribe lands on a couple of Winter Guard. The Scribe fails his tough check and dies. 1 Winter Guard fails his tough check, but the Rocketeer makes his. Griselle moves up and casts Calamity on the knocked down Winter Guard soldier. She needs a 4 to hit, and boosts to be sure. The Winter Guard unit is now affected by Calamity, giving enemy models +2 to hit and damage rolls. Griselle then makes a spray attack, targeting my Winter Guard officer. The attack only reaches 2 closer soldiers, however. She needs a 3 to hit the Rocketeer, which makes it, and a 10 to hit the other soldier, but misses. It's an immediate tough check for the Rocketeer, who fails. Another soldier picks up the rocket with the take-up roll. Griselle then casts her feat, Fell Chorus. All of her Fell Calls are in effect this turn. The Blitzer stands still to aim, then rolls a D3 to see how many shots he can make. He gets 3 shots this time. He targets a Winter Guard with the first one, needing an 8 to hit, which he boosts, but it misses. He boosts the second shot at the same target and hits. This triggers a tough check for the Winter Guard, who fails. The last shot targets another Winter Guard. He hits, and my Winter Guard fails his tough check and dies. The Champions activate and issue a charge order. 2 of them charge the objective, and the other 2 charge my Winter Guard. The attack on the objective automatically hits at dice -7. The objective takes 10 damage. The second attack causes 5 more damage, which is just enough to destroy the objective and score 1 control point for TROLLBLOODS. The champions on the Winter Guard need 8s to hit with Calamity. The first Winter Guard manages to dodge 3 attacks from the champion. The second Winter Guard dodges the first 2, but is hit by the third attack. This triggers a tough check, which he fails, killing the soldier. With everything done activating, Hoof It triggers for all units in Grisel's control area. The champions move back defensively within my zone. The Mauler moves back into his zone. The Blitzer moves toward the champions. Grisel moves back near the warders and Blitzer. Finally, the Creelstone shifts to stay in the center of the army. Khador turn 3. Sorsha spends a focus to upkeep Iron Flesh and does not allocate anything. The War Dog activates and charges a warder, needing a 6 to hit. He makes it and rolls dice -8 for damage, and rolls 3 1s. Shamefully, the dog returns back to a frowning Sorsha. Sorsha activates and casts Freezing Grip on the warder unit again. She boosts, needing a 6, and the spell is successful. The warders are frozen in place again. Sorsha then moves closer to the War Dog, then she feats. Hopefully we can clear some Trollkin this turn. Ayana and Holt activate. Ayana casts Kiss of Lilith on the Champions unit, needing a 4 to hit, but it misses. Holt shoots at one of the Champions, again needing a 4 to hit. The attack hits, and it's dice -6 for damage, and I cause no damage. The second attack does hit, and under feet causes 6 damage to the champion. The Spriggan takes a couple of shots at the champion's unit. The first attack hits at dice -8 and does no damage. The second shot also hits, and this time causes 2 damage to a champion. The Winter Guard activate, but cannot issue the Bob and Weave order this turn because of Grisel's feat. They advance up toward the champion unit, hoping to eliminate them. 3 Winter Guard make a combined ranged attack on a champion, needing a 4 to hit. The shot connects, and it's dice -3 for damage, and under feat causes 6 damage to the champion, triggering a tough roll, which he fails. Another 3 make a combined ranged attack on a troll further back, again needing a 4. It hits and causes 2 damage to the champion. 3 Winter Guard make a combined ranged attack on a warder. They hit and roll dice -4 for damage, causing 6 damage to the warder. A lone Rocketeer targets a Stone Scribe. He needs a 7 to hit and makes it. It's dice -3 for damage and triggers a tough roll for the Stone Scribe. He fails and dies. The 3-inch AoE also catches the Creelstone, but does no damage. Kovnik Joe activates and gives his speech, Courage of Our Forefathers, then takes a shot at a champion. He has an aiming bonus and hits. It's dice -6, but he does no damage. The snipers activate, but only one moves up. The first one targets a champion that is already damaged. The attack hits, and he takes an automatic wound. The next sniper shoots the same target and hits, causing yet another wound. Another Widowmaker shoots the same champion, triggering his tough roll, which he makes. So the last sniper tries to finish him off, takes another shot, hits, and he does not make his second tough roll. The Demolisher activates and carefully advances into the zone. He targets a warder with his range 8 gun. They are stationary, so the attack hits easily. It's dice -6 for damage and triggers a tough check, which the warder makes. The second attack is at a different warder and hits. This time, no damage is taken. TROLLBLOODS, turn 3. Griselle leeches 3 fury from the Blitzer and 1 fury from the Mauler. She then spends 1 to upkeep Calamity. The Mauler takes a threshold test and frenzies. He goes after a stationary warder, who is automatically hit. It's dice -3 for damage, but the warder only takes 2 points. All fury then drops. The Blitzer activates and rolls for attacks. He only gets 1 shot this time. He boosts the shot on a Winter Guard, needing a 6 to hit. He hits and triggers a tough roll, which fails. The champions activate and charge the Winter Guard. Now they need 6s to hit since the Winter Guard could not bob and weave. The first attack connects, triggering a tough roll, which fails. The second attack from the champion hits another Winter Guard, but he makes his tough check. The next champion hits a Rocketeer who makes his tough roll. The second attack auto-hits and the Rocketeer is still tough. The last champion auto-hits the knockdown Winter Guard, who is not tough a second time, and the champion's second attack is on the Rocketeer, which automatically hits and finally kills him. Griselle activates and puts Hoof It on the champions. She spends 3 fury to cast Rift at the Winter Guard officer. The officer is out of range, so the attack deviates and catches 3 different soldiers. With Calamity, she only needs 5s to trigger my tough roll. The Rocketeer is tough, as is the next soldier, and the last damage roll does not exceed the Winter Guard's armor. These are some of the toughest Winter Guard I've ever had. The Krillstone spends a fury to activate Protective Aura and run again. They have 2 fury on them, so the aura is 6 inches. Hoof It movements now trigger and the champions move back within the Krillstone aura, because they weren't hard enough to kill already. Khador, turn 4. Sorsha upkeeps Iron Flesh and does not allocate. Ayana and Holt target the champions again with Kiss of Lilith. She needs a 4 to hit, and it works this time. Holt shoots at the one champion not in the Krillstone aura. He hits on anything other than double 1s and makes it. It's dice -4 for damage and causes 1 point. The second attack also hits the same model and causes 4 damage. The Winter Guard activate and issue a bob and weave order and shift closer to the champions. All 6 will make a combined ranged attack, targeting the middle champion. Everyone is in range and they hit on anything but double 1s. It hits and is straight dice for damage. The troll takes 6 points of damage, triggering a tough roll, which he makes. Kovnik Joe moves up and repeats his favorite speech, making the Winter Guard tough and fearless. He shoots at one of the champions, needing a 6 to hit. He makes it, and it's dice -6 for damage, causing 2 points. The Widowmakers activate and advance up. One shoots at a champion with 1 wound left, needing a 4, and makes it. But the Trollkin is tough. The next sniper targets the same, hits, and the Trollkin is not tough this time. The third sniper targets the knocked down champion and hits, but this champion is still tough. The last sniper tries to finish him off and hits, but the champion remains incredibly tough. Sorsha advances and targets the knockdown warder with freezing grip. The attack hits, and she continues to keep the unit locked down. The Spriggan stands still to aim and shoots at the knockdown champion. It hits, but he cannot exceed his armor with either of his shots. The Demolisher activates and advances. He shoots at the stationary warder. The attack hits, and it's dice -2 for damage, which triggers a tough roll, which fails. The second shot targets another warder and hits. It's dice -6 due to Battle Driven and the Krillstone. The Trollkin takes 3 damage, triggering a tough check, which fails. TROLLBLOODS, turn 4. Griselle leeches 1 fury from the Blitzer and has to cut for 3 more. She then upkeeps Calamity for 1. Griselle activates and casts Rift at the clustered Winter Guard. She needs a 9 to hit and boosts it. It still misses, however, and deviates, catching several Winter Guard and Widowmakers instead. It's dice -4 on the Winter Guard, and the leader remains unharmed, as does the next soldier. The Standard Bearer is hurt though, and must make a tough check, which he fails. It's dice -4 on the Widowmakers. They both die, and the unit must make a command check, which they pass. It's dice -7 on Kovnik Joe, who takes no damage, and it's dice -4 on Holt, who also takes no damage. Rift is working to be the most ineffective spell in the game. Griselle makes a spray shot, targeting the Winter Guard. It also catches the War Dog and a second Winter Guard. She needs an 8 to hit the Winter Guard, and this is the first one, second one, and finally hits the dog. It's dice -2 for damage on the War Dog, triggering a tough roll, which the dog makes. Griselle then puts Hoof It on the Mauler. The Mauler activates and spends 3 fury to cast the Rage Animus on himself. He advances toward a warder and makes a throw attack targeting the War Dog. The attack on the warder automatically hits, and the Mauler wins the strength test. The dog is just outside of his range, however, so the throw deviates D3 inches and overshoots the War Dog. It's dice -2 for damage on the warder, and he makes his tough check. The champions activate and issue a charge run order. The knockdown model sacrifices his action to stand up and makes an advance. The leader charges the Winter Guard officer. He needs an 8 to hit and makes it. The attack hits hard enough to trigger a tough roll, which fails. The champion makes a second attack on another Winter Guard, but misses. The Blitzer advances and rolls a D3, getting 2 shots this time. The first attack is against Kovnik Joe. He needs a 7 to hit, which the Blitzer boosts. The attack connects, and Sacrificial Pawn causes a Winter Guard to be hit instead. The soldier makes his tough check. The second shot from the Blitzer also hits and is sack-pawned onto the Winter Guard, who is not tough the second time. The Creelstone unit spends another focus for Protective Aura and Run. They have a 5-inch aura now. Hoof It activates and the Mauler moves back behind the objective. Khador, turn 5. Sorsha upkeeps Iron Flesh and allocates 1 focus to the Spriggan. Sorsha moves within reach of the warder and casts Freezing Grip on the unit again. Since the warder is knocked down, it hits on anything but double 1s. The spell is successful, and so she then swings with her weapon at the Trollkin. It automatically hits and is dice -4 for damage, which triggers a tough roll that the warder fails. Ayana and Holt advance. Ayana casts Kiss of Lilith at the champion again, and it succeeds. Holt shoots at the champion, needing a 4, and hits. It's dice -4 this time because of the Creelstone. It triggers a tough roll, which he makes. The second shot hits, but does no damage. Kovnik Joe advances and takes a shot at the knockdown champion. He hits, and it's dice -4 for damage, triggering another tough roll, which the champion fails. He repeats that same tired old speech again, making him and the Winter Guard tough and fearless. The Spriggan activates and charges the last champion. He hits on 4s with the lance because of powerful charge. The attack hits and causes a tough roll, which the Trollkin fails. It only took 5 turns, but all the champions are now gone. The Winter Guard activate and advance, no longer getting bob and weave. They make a combined ranged attack on the Blitzer. They need a 4 to hit and make it. It's dice -5 for damage, and the Blitzer takes 3 damage to Spiral 2. The snipers target a warder behind the wall and hit on anything but double ones, since they are aiming. The first one hits, causing 1 wound, as does the second, causing another point of damage to the warder. The Demolisher moves up and shoots at the warders as well. He needs a 5 to hit and makes it. It's dice -6 for damage, and the warder takes 3 damage. The blast damage does not hurt Grisel. The second attack misses and drifts max deviation of 4 inches, hitting nothing. TROLLBLOODS turn 5. Grisel reaves 2 fury from the Mauler and 2 from the Blitzer. She then spends 1 to upkeep Calamity. Grisel activates first and shifts behind the wall. She then makes a spray attack targeting the Winter Guard leader. She needs an 8 to hit and makes it, but he makes his tough check. She then puts Hoof It on the Blitzer. The Blitzer activates and charges the Winter Guard Rocketeer. He needs an 8 to hit and boosts the attack, but misses. The second attack does not hit either. The Blitzer then uses his Animus Repulsion, pushing everything within 2 inches of the Blitzer 3 inches away. The Blitzer then shoots at the Rocketeer, again needing an 8 to hit, and he misses. The Mauler activates and walks up to the opened up Demolisher. He starts swinging, needing 4s to hit. He makes it, and it's dice -1 for damage. The Demolisher takes 8 damage to column 6. The second initial attack hits and causes 5 damage to column 4. This triggers his chain attack Headbutt, and he hits again, causing 4 more damage to column 6, and knocking the Jack down. The Demolisher is now automatically hit in melee, and the Mauler spends a fury to attack again, causing 6 damage to column 5. He buys another attack, causing 3 damage to column 4. Then he buys another attack, causing 8 damage to column 5, which is just enough to wreck the Jack. The Creelstone spends another fury to cast Protective Aura, and then run back. Hoof It triggers, and the Blitzer moves back to the edge of the zone. Khador turn 6. Sorsha upkeeps Iron Flesh on the last 3 Winter Guard, and puts 3 focus on the Spriggan. The snipers activate first and shoot at the Creelstone. They are aiming and need a 3 to hit. The first shot hits, and the wound is self-sacrificed onto a stone scribe. He fails his tough check and dies. The next attack also hits, and the wound is taken by a grunt who also fails his tough check. Ayana and Holt activate and move into the zone. She targets the Blitzer with Kiss of Lilith, needing a 4 to hit. The spell succeeds, which will help counteract the Protective Aura. Holt shoots at the warders, who have a cover bonus. He needs an 8 to hit. The first attack hits at dice -7 and causes no damage. The second shot also hits, but causes no damage either. Sorsha activates and moves toward her friendly zone. She spends 2 focus to cast Boundless Charge on the Spriggan. The Spriggan activates and charges the Blitzer. He needs a 4 to hit with the lance and hits. It's straight dice for damage, causing a lackluster 5 damage to Spiral 4. The second initial attack hits on a 6 or better and succeeds. It's dice -4, and the Blitzer takes 1 damage to Spiral 1. He buys an attack, needing a 6, and misses. The Spriggan buys another attack, which hits and causes 7 damage to Spiral 6. He buys 1 more attack, which hits easily and causes 9 damage to Spiral 4. This leaves the Blitzer with 3 health boxes. The Winter Guard activate and the Rocketeer sacrifices his action to stand up. He moves into the zone and all 3 Winter Guard make a combined ranged attack against the Warder, coming from the Rocketeer so the Warder does not get a cover bonus. They need a 4 to hit and make it. It's dice -4 for damage and this triggers a tough check, which fails. We're down to 1 Warder left. Kovnik Joe activates and moves into the friendly zone. He gives his speech for the motherland and boosts his own attack roll, targeting the Blitzer with his hand cannon. He needs a 10 to hit, but misses. He does hit my Spriggan, however, and a dice -9 causes no damage. The War Dog activates and moves near Sorsha, and the stalemate continues. TROLLBLOODS turn 6. Griselle reaves 3 Fury from the Mauler, which maxes her out. She does not upkeep Calamity. The Blitzer takes a threshold test, needing to roll under a 5. He frenzies, however, making a boosted attack on the Spriggan, which hits, and boosted damage at dice -6. The Spriggan takes 8 damage to column 5, and the Blitzer's activation is over. The last Warder charges the Spriggan, needing a 3 to hit, which makes it. It's dice -9 for damage, and as a charging weapon master, causes 6 damage to column 6, taking out the lance. The Mauler moves up to the Widowmakers, needing 8s to hit the snipers. The first attack hits, which kills the Widowmaker, and they just barely pass their command check. He boosts his second initial attack on the leader, which hits and finishes off the unit. Griselle activates and casts Rift at Kovnik Joe. It deviates from the max distance of her spell only 1 inch. This catches Joe and a Winter Guard. The Rocketeer dies from the blast, and it's dice -7 on Kovnik Joe, which Griselle boosts. He takes just enough damage to kill him. She puts Huffit on the Mauler and walks into her friendly zone to dominate it for 1 point. The Creelstone spends the last focus to activate their protective aura and hang out by the wall. Huffit activates and the Mauler moves into the zone to guard Griselle. TROLLBLOODS has 2 control points, Khador has 0. Khador turns 7. Sorsha does not upkeep Iron Flesh. She allocates 3 focus to the Spriggan. The Spriggan activates and tries to hit the Warder with his shield. He needs a 6 to hit and makes it. It's dice -5 for damage, and the Warder takes 2 points of damage. He boosts a lance attack at the Blitzer, needing a 6, but misses. He spends 2 focus to buy and boost another lance attack, but misses again. The Winter Guard charge the Warder, making a combined melee attack against him. They need a 5 to hit, but miss. Sorsha activates and walks up to within reach of the Warder. She needs a 5 to hit with her Frost Fang, but also misses. She buys another attack which hits this time, and rolls dice -8 for damage, which she boosts. This puts the Warder down to 1 hitbox. Sorsha buys 1 more attack against him, but misses. Ayanna and Holt activate, and Holt shoots at the Creelstone, needing an 8. He misses with the first attack, and hits with the second. The Creelstone fails his tough check and dies. The War Dog runs into the enemy zone with Griselle to stop her scoring this turn. TROLLBLOODS turn 7. Griselle reaves 2 Fury from the Mauler and cuts for 2 more. The Stone Scribe runs around the wall to position himself. The Mauler activates and spends 2 Fury for his Rage Animus. He walks up to the Stone Scribe and makes a throw attack. He hits on a 4 or better and makes it. He wins the Strength test and targets Sorsha again with the thrown model. He needs an 8 to hit her and boosts the attack. but still misses my wily Boarcaster. The throw deviates, and the scribe instead hits the warder, because he's the same size base. The warder, stone scribe, and displaced rocketeer all take a power 15 damage roll. It's dice -4 on the warder, triggering a tough roll, which he fails. It's dice -3 on the stone scribe, who also fails his tough check and dies. The rocketeer immediately dies, causing a command check for the last guy in the unit. He fails and is now fleeing. Gricelle activates and moves up toward her objective. She makes a spray shot against the war dog, boosting the attack. She needs an 8 to hit and makes it. This triggers a tough check for the dog, but he does not make it. She then spends 2 fury to heal the spirit and mind on the blitzer. She then puts the hoof it ability on the mauler. The blitzer activates and he makes a power attack throw on the Spriggan. He boosts the hit, needing a 5, and makes it. The blitzer wins the strength test and throws the jack at Lady Ayana. He boosts the attack, needing a 10 to hit, and makes it. It's dice -9 for damage, causing 1 damage to the Spriggan. It's power 12 on Ayana, and kills her. This triggers a command check for Holt, and he does not break. Hoof-it movement takes place, and the mauler moves toward Holt. Gricelle scores another control point for dominating her zone. Khador, turn 8. Sorsha keeps all of her focus. Holt activates and moves up toward Gricelle. He shoots, needing a 7 to hit her, and makes the first attack. It's dice -4 for damage, and she takes 7 damage, which she transfers to the blitzer since the mauler is full on fury. That kills the blitzer, and she still takes 2 damage. Holt takes a second shot, but misses. Sorsha will attempt to finish this. She casts Boundless Charge on herself and charges Gricelle. She needs an 8 to hit and boosts the attack. The attack hits and crits, causing Gricelle to become stationary. It's dice -3 for damage, and Gricelle takes 6 damage. Sorsha buys an attack, which automatically hits and causes 9 damage, triggering Gricelle's tough roll, which she makes. Sorsha buys another attack, triggering another tough roll, which Gricelle fails, finally resulting in a Khador victory.
So we just finished our 35-point Trollblood Army in a Box versus Khador Army in a Box after either 7 or 8 rounds.
8 or 9.
8 or 9 rounds, we kind of lost track. So final thoughts on that. It was a slap fight, obviously. I don't think we were really rolling average dice for damage.
I think I had one turn where a mauler killed one of the jacks. That was good dice.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it was not good dice at all.
No, it was Primal Strike. I think you got out. It was pretty good too. But yeah, so our army in a boxes, like the all-in-one army box. Yeah, we'll start with the Khador one, I guess. So Epic Source is always great. She's an awesome synergy with the Winter Guard. I'm not really convinced about the Demolisher. Honestly, I don't think he's that awesome compared to, say, what else you can make out of that same box, the Devastator, because you can get more automatic hitting things. You can run around, and they all have bulldoze, but I like the auto hit with the Rain of Death versus just the shots.
And the third Clamjack is a Spriggan as well, right?
The third Clamjack is a Spriggan, but I don't think you need more than one.
No.
So I would just stick with that, but I would probably make that switch out. Overall, though, I mean, Ayana and Holt did some work. The problem was, it was a, armor cracking army versus a armor skew army.
A little too much armor for the armor crack.
A little too much, so.
So the Trollblood one, it was Warders and Champions, which is bad enough already. And then they had the Krillstone in there, and then 2 heavies, a Blitzer and a Mauler. So overall, for value for the box, the value is great. You get pretty much everything you want and use in Trolls. The Blitzer is probably one of the least used war beasts out there. Maybe changing that to a Bomber would get you better value out of the box. But overall, I thought the list was fine. Better than I thought, maybe. After seeing it play, maybe better than I thought.
You're very, very survivable.
Yeah.
I mean, getting rid of the multi-wound infantry was hard.
Partially dice, but also, the wounds, the tough checks.
Yeah.
They stuck around better than I thought they would. Your feet killed like 2. I expected it to kill like 5.
Yeah, I was expecting to do much better.
So
and
overall, boxes fine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Grisel's feet's also pretty good. I mean, overall, she's a really good caster for Trolls.
She was pretty active in the game, and one of the better casters that Trolls have access to.
Yeah.
Her feat was, I'm trying to think what she did on her feat turn. Allowed her land a Calamity and move back, and allowed some champions to have chances at killing Winter Guard and your objective. So overall, the feat was good, but every turn, the Fell Calls were doing something. Yeah. So that really helped out the battle quite a bit, I think.
Now, Hoof It is awesome. Yeah. That one's really nice. Now, you didn't have a way of getting to close distance to kill something, but getting away was pretty...
I could hit and run quite a bit. So
and you avoid free strikes with it.
Yep. So. Avoid the free strikes, running away. Allowed the champs to brick back up, which was kind of nice.
I don't know how many tough rolls either side were making either, because my Winter Guard were wily. They were staying around a long time, too. It got down to 1, and it took them getting down to 1 man before they finally broke, so I was proud of that. But, yeah. Overall, it ended up being just a slugfest. We couldn't really get to each other. My defense versus your armor, basically.
Yeah. Me having no speed buffs, no way to deal with we had linear obstacles in the middle, no way to get around that. So pretty much
just hanging out in that wall.
Yep, spraying, hide behind the wall, throw some rifts out to put even more rough terrain out there.
Yeah.
And other than that, I danced around an objective for my zone for like 4 turns, waiting for you to move the Demolisher into a spot where the Mauler could finally get to it.
Yeah.
And you frozen grip my warders like almost every turn.
They were really scary. I needed to deal with one thing. I didn't think it would take like 5 turns to deal with the champions before I get to the warders.
I'll just freeze them, and then I'll kill the champions, and then I'll come back to the warders.
No, it was I'll freeze them, and then I'll not kill the champions, or I'll put all of my army to kill 1, maybe 2, if they were already hurt from a previous turn. So no, it was a really difficult attrition matchup. So, overall, maybe it's designed for scenario play, because you can just take a position and really stay in there.
Yeah, scenario is really tough at 35 points, though. You don't have enough models to, clear the backs of zones. You're able to hang out on and hold in the back of a zone for almost the entire game.
That's true.
So, scenario is pretty rough.
Yeah, so overall, it was going for the kill. You tried really early to kill Sorsha, though. That was kind of exciting. We got to relearn throw mechanics.
Yeah, bottom of 2, try and chuck a warder. Was he frozen at that time?
No, it wasn't a warder.
It was a Krillstone guy. Yeah, because I had to run him up further.
Yeah.
And I tried 3 throws in that game, I think. I only actually hit 1 of the throws.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get that nice and early. We would have been done.
Then you wouldn't have all these exciting other things to talk about. So, yes, anyway. Overall, great game. It was an interesting game. It just went on for a really long time because both armies are so good at attrition. And so if you are playing this kind of box set against each other, probably better to go with time turns.
Put it on a death clock. Yeah. At least a death clock. We could have finished the game about 3 turns earlier, at least.
Yeah, probably.
With the clock. And these 2 boxes, don't play them against each other.
Yeah, maybe not so much.
High defense on one side, high armor on the other side.
It just leads to tears. Tough checks after tough check. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you think of the army in a box if you've got them. Hopefully, maybe you've had a different experience with this or you'd like to see something else. So let us know. We will see you next time.